welcome to an episode of History Makers. In this episode, we are happy to host one and only, the big band, the big brothers, the American expedition, Jabali Afrika. Karibuni Jabali. Justo and Josek, Ashikoes, the Ashikoes.
Yes.
How are you doing, bro?
We're doing good, man.
How is music taking you?
Music.
Nyinyi ni wa Kenya ama you guys?
Music is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Na sisi ni wa Kenya.
Are you sure you Kenyans? You've stayed in America for quite a while.
Jamaa hata kama umekaa kwa miaka 50 wewe ni Mkenya. Mimi ni Mkenya, mimi ule mluya kutoka pale Luanda, pale Buzihare. Haiwezi change.
So, how long have you guys been in the States? 20 years? 15?
The first time we landed in the U.S. was in 95.
Yes.
June 12th.
1995.
1995. It was the summer of 1995.
Yeah.
We had finished a tour of Europe. We had done 30 cities of Europe with African heritage.
Yeah.
So, and then the U.S., we decided to branch off by ourselves. So, we landed in the U.S. in that summer. Alafu, we had 8 months. We had an 8 months visa, right?
Yeah.
And the 8 months, we had some shows, you know? And these shows was like, we had a tour that was organized by my late brother, Luke Asikoe, who just passed in June. So he organized the tour, and then after the tour, we got more bookings, so we renewed our visa, our working visa. So, and then did several shows. The first tour we did was the Sunsplash. Those days,
the reggae festival, the big reggae festival.
Guys talk
Sunsplash,
about before Sunfest and all these, there was reggae Sunsplash.
Yes, it was reggae Sunsplash.
Yeah, so that's the one we did. Don Penn was on the bill. Junior Reid, Shaggy, Shaba, you know.
Capleton,
It was the day when this song, when Don Penn did the remix of.
Which song is this?
No. That was a big song. It was a reggae crossover. So we were privileged to be on that tour in the summer in the US. So after we did that, we happened to be on a TV show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. This was a kids show. And what happened is like we had gone, it's like the way we've come to KTN. So we are doing History Makers. But on the other side, somebody's shooting another show. So it happened to be, we are on Black Horizons, and then Mr. Rogers was also shooting in the same studio. So he had us on set, and he said, I want you guys to come on my show. So we organized with the producer of the show, and we ended up on Mr. Rogers' show. We didn't know who Mr. Rogers was, but it was a very big, it's an Emmy-winning, Oscar winning. There's what's the name of this actor who did? He played the character of the host of this show. That's how big he was. You know, it's like playing the role of like maybe Ojwang in a Hollywood blockbuster, in a Hollywood blockbuster. So when he appeared on Fred Rogers, actually most of the guys our age in the US grew up with him. So we did a rendition of his song. And once that show went on air, America went crazy.
That was a big break.
Our big break. I'll say that was our biggest break in America. Because it was a national show. And once it went on air, that's where our opportunities came from. We got mail from all over the U.S. Those days there was no Twitter,
there was no Facebook,
no Instagram.
There was no Facebook.
So what we did, what we got was mail. Like we go into the mail, bags and bags of mail. Just fans writing how good they enjoyed the show, how great it was, how like our rendition of Mr. Rogers' song did to them. So from there, the agent who books us up to today was watching the show with his daughter. So once he saw the show, he said, like, wow, those guys are cool. I want to book them. One phone call leads to another. They call the station. The producer of the station calls us. Us guys were, at that time, here in Nairobi, you know? And when he went back, he said, I want to book you guys. I'd like to work with you guys. He said, like, let's see how it's going to be. First of all, we didn't take him serious. So he decided to start booking us even before we met. I'm talking about 6 months. He was booking us 6 months before we met face to face. So what we'll do is like, he'll fax our schedule and we just go, and then you get your schedule, your money is transferred into accounts, you know. So us guys were just doing our tour without meeting face to face. 6 months down the line, we meet, and the rest is history.
So did you, in the tours, when did you decide to just say that, to set your base in the States, rather than operate from Kenya back to the States? Because you ended up a very long time in the States.
The touring circuit is very interesting in the US. And sometimes you might find yourself, we used to come to Kenya every year, but now it's like we are doing a lot of college tours. So the college was our playground. We were doing like almost 200 colleges a year, you know? And with the college season starts in September. So September, October, November, and then December they take a little break for Christmas. And that's why Jabali was always in Kenya in December, because there was nothing going on. So by the time January comes back, you find that in the mid-January, touring starts again in colleges, because now we are going towards Martin Luther King holiday, Black History.
Black History Month.
Yeah, exactly. That was our biggest. Black History was one of our biggest months.
January to February then?
Yes, end of February. Yes, exactly. February, So Black History kicks in. So by the time we finish Black History, spring is coming in. So the spring festivals are coming in. Okay, Ujaka kidogo, summer is here. So the club dates and the summer fests are coming in. So you find that we were just in a rotation, year after year, year after year. So we happen to be like, okay, we got to find a place to stay there, you know? But now we are switching back the rotation. Now we're going to be doing it from here.
Back to the States?
Yes. Not back to the States only. We talk about Africa is beautiful. We want to go to Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa. You know, the world has become, you know, little. You know?
I hope in the tour you didn't miss ugali so much. Unajua Mluya na ugali bana.
Tuko tunajipikia.
Ilikuwa inabidi tutafuta mwiko na sufuria.
And even on our tour, we used to have like we carried our cooking stuff. Yeah, so we don't miss it. The only thing we miss sometimes is the vibe. There's something about being around a place that inspires your craft.
Yes.
You know? Being Africans and looking at Jabali music. Jabali music was basically rooted
in African society.
Yeah, so being around this environment, there's just something about it. There's just a spiritual thing, you know?
So let's, musically speaking, when you released your, forget that classics, Aoko, and of course we will go through the classics. Did you release any music in the United States which was recorded there, which didn't have the African feel?
I will say in our journey as artists, we also mingle with other artists. Yes. You meet different people. You see, if I meet Jay-Z and Jay-Z tells me I want to do a record with you, automatically we'll try to fuse those things together. So, and then America being a melting pot, we met so many other musicians and so many other creatives. And we did a lot of there's some songs that if you listen to them, even though still rooted in our Jabali touch, we fused with other people. We started playing, we mixed in some other instrumentation into our sound, you know? One funny thing that people don't understand, when Jabali left Kenya, we were playing a lot of African traditional instruments. Yes. But he knew how to play guitar. It just happened that...
When did you also pick up guitar? Because we were in the Tumbas before.
Yeah, I picked up the guitar before the Tumbas.
You picked up the guitar before the Tumbas?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you pick it from your father?
From my dad. Yeah, from my father.
Because Mr. Skoy was a very adept guitarist.
Yeah, and he's still playing till today.
He's still playing?
Yeah, his style, you know, when he introduced me to the guitar, I was 12 years old. Yeah. And the interest, because I used to listen to a lot of Zilizopendo. I remember that time, James Onyango Joel.
Yes.
I was a kid at that time.
Yeah.
But he would introduce me to those guys. When the music was playing, he would tell me, you grab a guitar, let me show you this. So I adapted that style, and then I evolved in the US. Because when I went to the US, that's when I knew the world of guitars. There's all these, what do you call it, sections in music. You have like the percussion world. You have the guitar world. You have like the wind world.
The wind and horn.
Yeah, so you find like, but when I went to America, that's when I knew. Like, even the guitar that I'm playing, I've owned this guitar for 21 years. But this guitar, I bought it pre-owned, and I think it's about 30-something. It's a 1988 Gordian. You see, like, so these are the things that when I got into the professional world, my ears started tuning into quality and sound. You know, this is a semi. You see, it's projecting, but it's skinny.
Yes,
you can carry it anywhere. Yeah. So percussion, because Jabali Afrika, when we formed Jabali Afrika, it was based on the foundation of percussion.
It's a percussion group.
Yeah, percussion.
Because it was Jabali Afrika, Bakulutu Africa.
Yeah.
The guys who would do a lot of tumbas.
Yes. So Jabali Afrika, mind you, before even Jabali Afrika, we went to the music festival. We started giving people a hard time. At the music festivals, we became number one. Yeah. And then we were, that time, remember, we were hungry.
Freelancers.
Yeah, we were freelancers. And we said, oh, okay, there's something here.
We can pick it up.
You see the set that you see people playing percussion with right now?
Yes, it was your set.
That is original Jabali Afrika set. The thing that I love about it is like, at least we put up a foundation where people came to learn from that. The set that you sent, Bubumbu, a set of lead drums, a set of ohangalas and all that. And then stringed instruments. The first string instrument, we said, no, we are not going to incorporate the guitar right now. But we want to prove to these people, like these instruments, this music, these instruments evolved from those instruments. Many people don't know that, but they need to know, and they need to do research. The guitar actually evolved from the African harp, and the African harp is in every African community.
Yes, it is there.
Yeah, there's Letungu, there's Nyatiti. Yeah. So all these things, there's Kora, all these things evolved from...
Ndungu.
Yeah, if you go look at the evolution of the guitar, you're going to find out like it evolved from those instruments. So we set up the bass and we said, let's give these people a problem and prove to these guys like our music is not inferior, and we're going to play it through our instruments. So we tuned how many drums? About 12.
12 drums.
There are so many of them.
And if you listen to the
different
sound,
it's different.
We had a bass line.
Yes.
See the bubumbus?
Yes.
We tuned the bubumbus like a bass guitar, like do-do-do-do-do.
Yes.
You know? And then we had the higher tones. So when you heard the sound, it's more like you're hearing a rhythm guitar, bass guitar, and all that stuff.
And that's what fascinated even the judges.
Yes.
They were like wondering where the sound was coming from.
How is this sound?
Yeah, from the bubumbus, and the way they were tuned, and the marimba. Yes. So because of the tuning of African instruments and traveling, when it came to touring, you tour with the whole track if you want the whole...
If you want to play 20 songs,
you have to set a whole...
Every Lutungu or every song is in its own key.
Yeah. And that's where now the
guitar comes in. Because now you can tune once.
Yeah, tune it and then play
differently.
Yeah.
So the transformation, I think this is about musical transformation from a predominantly percussion outfit to the American fusing of voices and vocals and instrumentation, where you brought in guitar and blended with other styles. And then you guys tried to also experiment with a lot of reggae in between. So how is that journey?
So the journey is this. First of all, in any song that Jabali Afrika touches, the first thing we got to bring in African, our roots have to be in there, you know? And then even when we talk about reggae, jazz, all that music came from African music. Yeah. So it wasn't hard for us to fuse that, you know? So every time you listen to the music, we knew very well where does this reggae music fall into. We can play you the reggae music just with percussion alone, you know? We can translate all that music, we take out the melodic instruments and give you something, like give you the root of all that, you know? But also, as guys bringing in all these other instruments, it was not like we didn't want to do that. It was an intentional thing, and it was a plan for Jabali Afrika when we started. First of all, when we started, the only instruments we could afford was the drums.
The drum set.
But the dream of Jabali Afrika, we were very much inspired, you know? We were very much inspired. We were exposed to a lot of music. We were inspired by this band called Osibisa from Ghana.
The Ghana, Osibisa,
yeah,
the
they
big
were very
band.
percussive.
Yeah, the percussive, yes. Osibisa,
yeah, they were very percussive.
Yeah.
And that was our nickname. Even when we used to hang out and do shows with the Mushroom, Pressman Band, all these Nairobi bands, they used to call us Walema Osibisa.
Yeah, Osibisa.
You know, when they saw us, they saw Osibisa. You know, even us guys, when we went to the talent search, the description was like, when guys saw us, it reminded them of Osibisa. But Osibisa music was like, the person who brought us into that music was my brother. He used to play a lot of all that music, Fela, Manu Dibango, all that stuff was in our household. Apart from my dad, with his style of Omutibo.
Omutibo, which is, of course,
yeah, because my dad played in that era with George Mukabi, Mwale, Shem Tube, you know. So, and that's the style that he adapted. Most of his guitar, if you listen to him play.
The bouncy guitar riff.
Yes.
Which is totally different from Benga, because this one you touch and you pluck it nicely.
Yeah, you play one guitar, and people think you're playing two
guitars. Yes,
you know?
That's the difference between Omutibo and Benga, which is falsetto.
Yes,
yeah,
and those are the influences you see, like in a song like Basikoe, The Touch. You know, I think Jesus should maybe play that.
Play.
I had a Fanta bottle.
The Omutibo style,
yeah,
the Fanta bottle.
Amatu meji papa na mama.
Hey,
Musiri urorana.
Bora,
Revana amarevo manji. Urere omwami. Amatuhu matinyu kabira. Imbonya sae abanga. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Himula kayanda kayane. Majai
namasiro.
Moyo kwanje
Kulinenywe.
katandiri yare. Basisi bosi
Basikoe.
Oisindusira.
Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka urorane. Nyasaye amulinde mpaka
Fantastic.
That's a Omutibo touch, bro.
Touched fantastically Omutibo. The plucking of the riffs, Omutibo style.
Yes.
Only the missing part is the Fanta
Fanta
bottle.
bottle. Exactly.
So that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, when Jabali went to the States, it reminds me when John Blastos of Bulawayo and David Amunga
Yes.
reached the United States in 1958, and the song So Many
Vijana. Yeah.
Let's do that thing. Okay? So many Vijana You know, Kenyans don't understand that group. Yes. Mwisho wa kusoma. 1958.
Yeah.
David Amunga and John Blastos of Bulawayo, kings of Mtibo too.
So many vijana muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma utapata kazi nzuri sana. So many vijana muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana. Kata kusoma wafanye badi kwa bidii, waambie watoto mwisho wa kusoma kweli furaha. Waliokosa kusoma wafanye kazi kwa nguvu, waambie watoto mwisho wa kusoma kweli furaha.
See? Those are vibes that my dad used to play with him, as he said, when he was listening to John...
Blastos of Bulawayo and David Amunga.
James Onyango Joel.
Yes.
He used to play that stuff.
You talk about John
Ben Blasto. Ben Blasto Bulawayo.
1958.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how my dad, he would give you the ears.
Yeah.
And whenever that show went on, he grabbed the guitar. Yeah. And he'd tell us that's Ben Blastos Bulawayo. That's the Shimbiro.
Yes.
Shem Tube, you know?
George
Mukabi, Mwale, all that stuff, you know? So that's the vibe. Even when Jabali came in, a lot of guys just saw us. We were just urban kids like everybody else.
Yes.
You know? We are a hip-hop generation. Yeah. But we were in touch with the soul of our people, you know? Even when us guys came into the scene, guys used to say, we are not Kenyans, remember?
Yeah.
They used to say like, those guys, they are not Kenyans. Those must be Niger. Those guys must be West Africans.
Not believing in yourself.
And they used to do, they'll bring in, at Carnival, us guys will go play at Carnival, they'll put us at the entrance, you know? Yeah, they put us at the entrance. And then on the main stage, they'll put a cover band. This band is playing covers, all the classics. But us guys are put there, an original band is put at the door. But the chaos that us guys will be doing at the door, guys will not be going until they stop us so that the other function could go on inside. But why I'm saying this, we need to change this mentality of assuming that anything that is traditional or anything that is cultural is not good enough for the main stage, you know? And that's why West Africa, if you look at like the Salif Keitas, the Yusundus, when they're playing their music, the kora is usually...
Kora has to be there.
Yeah, but it's usually the strongest instrument. The rest of the things adapt to the traditional instruments. But to us, guys look at like, if I stand with a guitar in church, even in church, if I stand with a guitar in church, I look cool. I come with a nyatiti in church, they'll tell me I'm a sorcerer. You know? Yeah. So we need to change those mentalities.
No, we basically,
we need to change.
We need to.
You know, when you step outside this country and you're within other international communities, because Jabali Afrika has done a lot of festivals. And along these festivals, we meet people from Hawaii, you meet people from, I don't know, Fiji, those tiny islands, tiny countries, and you wonder, you know, like, why are we not represented here a lot? But I came to find out it's because of the mentality. You know, because I cannot compete with an American to be an American and play. You see, even people like Masekela, people like Miriam Makeba, when they came in with their music, they fused with jazz, but it was with their stuff. Yes. Gwela, Batanga, all this music was fused together. If you read Masekela's book, you're going to see where I was talking about. Yeah. He went and
even the sound, the click.
Yes. He said at one time he had gone to New York because when Masekela, they were in self-exile. And Miriam Makeba actually hooked him up, and they ended up in New York. He was saying that the one time he met Miles Davis. Yeah. Everybody knows Miles Davis. Miles Davis was like listening to him. The guy was playing the sax and wee, and he's just looking at him. And you know, he cast in American. You know how they talk. And he told him, man, play me some boop, bleep, play me some nice African, shh, you know, I want to hear it. And guess what? Masekela actually got nominated for a Grammy when he played that riff of Grazing the Grass. Grazing the Grass. I keep on telling these guys when we are on the road, listen to that. That's Masekela. Again, we go to another state. If you listen to the jazz radio, Masekela is playing everywhere. You know how much publishing is getting from that? Masekela was running the streets just like the Hollywood people. Because many people, when jazz was the in thing.
You know, there's a time jazz was the in thing.
Jazz,
what you see in hip hop now.
Manhattan.
Yes, and he kept on telling us. We met him, we knew him personally.
Yeah.
He kept on telling us, you still in America? When you're signing was big, he said, you need to go back and develop your music industry.
Yeah,
that's how he ended up in South Africa. For him, I cannot blame him because with the 20 years that he lived in South Africa, the rest of his life he was in exile.
No, he was in exile.
Yeah, but what he did for Africa
was greater.
Many people even don't know he was behind Muhammad Ali coming here, Rambo in the Jungle.
Yep.
Masekela brought that man in Congo.
Hugh Masekela.
Hugh Masekela is
the
in the
great
book.
man.
The great man. Whatever he did for Africa, many people don't know. So, and he was told like, no, don't play like these guys. Miles Davis told him, play your stuff.
That's where Kwela came in.
That's where he came in with his stuff.
And then the thing is, basically what Juice is trying to say is, like, being yourself.
Be yourself in your
Goes far.
showbiz. Yeah.
Goes far.
Yeah.
You know, I cannot go to America and try to compete with them in R&B. You know? Of course. You know, even right now, I like what is happening in the music scene now. It's a good thing. Like we're seeing, we have a lot of pop stars coming from Africa. Yeah. But if you look at the things that the West Africans are doing and the Congolese are doing, they're still caught up in their own sound.
Of course, the West Africans, the Davidos, are doing Afrobeat, which is based in Fela's.
Yes, still based on this. So even our kids here, I'm just trying to encourage them. Like, try to look. There's so much that we have. The diversity that we have in this country is the diversity we have in music too. So don't lean on one side. The Kambas have a story. The Luyas have a story. The Luos have a story. You know. So just try to touch base with that, and you come up with your own sound.
So what was the highest point in the American expedition experience? That those 20 years you were there, the highest point and the lowest point in that?
I'll put them all together.
You want me to start with the lowest?
The lowest, I think. You know,
the lowest is when we were broke for how many months?
How many months were you?
8 months.
8 months.
Because people, when we got into America, you're gonna talk about the highest point. Yeah. Let me do. If I miss something, then you can chip in. When we got into America, because in Europe, first of all, when we did the European tour, people were like living life.
This is it.
Yeah, yes. Because when we did the African Heritage, we went to how many cities?
It was 5-star after 5-star.
It was 5-star, where I left my stuff in my room. Yes. In the next city, I found them right there. Yes. Party, everything, the way my wardrobe would be carried all the way to Europe. Yes. Same way.
See the guitar the way it's set up there? Yes. When I get on stage, I'll find it set up the same way. This guy will just draw a diagram and he'll be right there.
The bus is there, somebody to wake you up. You know, people became reluctant. You see, that's why it gets into your head. Yes. You know, it gets into your head. Many people think like, it's just like the other day I just shared something on social media about our original transportation from African Heritage. That pickup, remember that pickup at African Heritage? Is still there. Oh, it doesn't have a dent. It's still there. Yeah, that pickup used to carry us with drums in one place. But now we went to Europe, and then when we crossed over now in America, we were on our own because we didn't know we had to start from scratch. That was not Kenya. That was a different environment. Yeah, and people need to know you. You need to know like you have to start creating a buzz, have a popular sport that you can be doing, your regular gigs. And then when we did that, it was about 8-9 months.
Yeah, 8 months.
It was 9 months.
Guys will say
the money that we had,
it was gone.
It was gone.
Yeah.
Then we started using my brother's money. My late brother. We started using his money. Now people started getting frustrated. Yes. Oh, you guys told us, we were going to get gigs here. We told them no. And the people that were complaining, the people that we brought in
supplement
later.
To support the band.
Yeah, and those are the same people that bailed out. Yeah. They bailed out. When we were there, they started politics, and then they decided to go back. They came back here. But us guys, we stood to our grounds, and we said, no, we must make sure America knows us. Yeah. You know, so we continued hustling, and that's when we started with the festival, the Male Fest. We did it in that summer, and then that winter, we came here. You understand?
Yeah.
Remember?
And then the phone call came.
Then the phone call came after those guys had left Jabali. You understand? That was the lowest point. Like everybody, people are like just, people are like, we told them, yes, you're not in the streets of Nairobi. Because in the streets of Nairobi, long time, you didn't get anything. You used to leave the house by faith, knowing like the bus fare to Kurudi, you're going to get it from somewhere there.
Yeah.
Imagine, for the love of art, we told them, we are here. We have a van here. We know, my brother is here. So why are you guys complaining? But the European tour messed up people's heads.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's a
And the
five-star
yeah,
treatment.
exactly.
And the highest point?
The highest point, I'll say, to me was just realizing the power of the music that us guys were playing. Because sometimes, talking about the background, when us guys came from here, we were guys like, when you look at traditional music in this country, and Nyatiti guy is always where? At the door. The guys who do the traditional things is like to welcome people at the airport.
And, and in a Mombasa hotel.
Yes, and in the tourist circuit.
Tourist side.
You know, but guys don't realize the power of that
Music.
that traditional instrument, you know. But now when us guys were doing our shows one after another, and like you walk on stage and you get that pandemonium, you know, and you say, wow. You want to tell me, and when I walk on stage with this stuff here, the girls are not checking me out, you know.
But guys, you remember, they took it for granted, and we were careless with our instruments in Sweden.
Yes.
They go
Guess
stolen.
what? White boys stole it. They stole everything.
Yeah.
We came back with sneakers and
And music systems.
Yeah, music systems.
That's
but our
it.
instruments,
But the instruments
they
are
stole
gone.
them.
But so when I talk about
At
the
a
highest
festival.
moment to me, so going back to the highest moment is like just realizing the power of being yourself, you know. So and then you go to you play a gig with Taj Mahal, you play a gig with Lenny Kravitz, but these guys they come to check you out. Like before they are the headliners, but they come out of their green rooms to come and check you guys out, you know. Playing with some of the greatest musicians that you admired before, but now they're becoming your fans.
Yeah.
You know? So to me, that was a message to me that's in the sense that I realized, you know what? You can never look down on who you are or your stuff or where you come from. You know? So to me, that has been my biggest takeaway from touring the world, and then realizing like, regardless, when you look at another artist, like just getting the respect, when guys are respecting you as another creative, you know? In this country, sometimes I see how guys are treated when a headliner is doing a show here. And then you realize like, wow, you know? Like
The standards are not the same.
they are not the same, but we need also to teach our people to find pride in themselves first before, you know? Acquiring stuff from out there, you know?
So what did you guys do at African? You remember African Heritage was the big epicenter where each and every Afro-based artist came from.
Yeah.
Some of the former...
The biggest, actually, let's just, some of the most celebrated artists from this country
came from
that
African Heritage.
tree.
Yeah,
And the troupe.
Yes.
And some of them are in the UK. They've never come back.
Including models.
Yes.
Iman came from
Iman came from there.
Yeah.
So who else? And of course, Ayub Ogada.
Samite Mulondo.
Yes.
Samite was from Uganda,
Yeah.
but he was from the African Heritage Band. So, and that was one of our also biggest inspiration. And just getting acquainted with African Heritage gave us a chance to just feed into the same tree.
Kanye West sampled some of African
Kotbiro.
Heritage, Kotbiro.
Yeah, the original one.
The original one,
Yeah, the
which
one
was African Heritage,
Yes.
into his latest album. So is there a hope that our African music, what we are doing now, getting into that stature where most of the Western producers will pick it up for remake?
Yes. If we, number one, the first thing that has to happen is we have to continue supporting the grassroots. We have to support traditional music setups, you know? I'm not saying the kids that are doing stuff now are on the wrong tracks. Yeah. No. It's like we have to create an ecosystem whereby these kids can tap from that to build what they are doing. That's what's happening with the American music scene. What Kanye West and them are doing, Kanye West, they're picking up from blues, they're picking up from the Shaka Khans, there are some, they're coming from the background of the music they grew up listening to. And I'll give you an example. I never knew, before we played with George Clinton, I used to think...
Funkadelic.
Yeah, Funkadelic. I used to think all that Snoop Doggy. I used to think I used to think it's the original.
No, it's not original.
Until the time we played these guys, and I was like, whoa.
They were playing all those hits.
All those hits are sampled from them.
Fireworks.
Yeah. So what does that tell you? Like, if we feed the ecosystem well, these kids will pick up from the same stuff. Yeah, but now, if the ecosystem lacks all these elements that make us who we are, they automatically go to sample the American stuff or the European stuff. You see what's happening in South Africa, All of them, they have their own sounds. Even though it's pop, they have their own sound. West Africa, even though it's pop, they have their own sound. In Somalia, what Kenyan did.
That's the foot
yes.
philosopher?
Yes.
Subas.
Yes, it was all, that was actually, when they came out, they did so much for Africa. All these things that is happening on the continent, Kenyan, Razak, and all those guys did that before, And we are looking at that. When you look at East Africa, that was the first East African sound that was out there.
What Kenyan did?
Yeah, Troubadour was mostly sampled.
Mostly sampled, yeah. Because I remember the first song he did was traditionally Somali.
Yes.
Subas, which was shot in Isili.
Yes.
And it was very inspiring. And then he went to Canada, America, and then but back to Jabali. What would you say the collaborations, Funkadelic, for example, what did you pick from that experience, and did you manage to reach the heights you wanted, and did you do songs with them?
No, we did not do songs with them. We did some songs with other people. We workshopped a lot of music with the Fugees, like Lauryn Hill. We did some practices together, and then you realize after when she came out, she had this African sound going on,
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
That was after the Miseducation.
Yeah.
So she came up with a very, like I was seeing the project she was doing, she was trying to do what she does, but with the African music sound.
Yeah.
So we were the guys that were called in and worked out a few things together. And then from there, things did not work out. I don't know what happened. There was so much stuff surrounding when Lauryn was coming. The second coming of Lauryn, there was so much stuff going on. Anyway, but I'm just saying, when it comes to the fusion stuff, those experiences were learning experiences to us. Not necessarily even collaborating. Sometimes you don't even need to collaborate. Sometimes you take the lesson just from seeing how things are being done. We were privileged to record our music in some of the best studios and have the sound that we wanted, because the first recording we did here was a very disappointing recording. And we realized the engineer played with us. It was the same mentality.
He disrespected the drums.
He disrespected the drums.
But he didn't know the sound was there.
Yeah. So, and when I say disrespect, and that's what I'm talking about, the whole mentality of looking down on traditional instruments.
Yeah.
This engineer put us in one room, and he made sure, and we were just one take. There's so many rooms in the studio, but he made sure Nyatiti is there, drums are there, and then we songa mbele kidogo, songa nyuma kidogo, and just bam, recorded us. So there was no mixing. There was, he was doing everything was being done on the spot.
I will never forget that guy.
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Andrew Crawford Studios.
Andrew Crawford Studios. Yeah.
Andrew
So
Crawford.
that was our first experience. Then we realized, this guy.
Sometimes they need to be pointed out.
He did not do the thing. He did not.
Because you can't record music like that. You have to.
We still have the recording. We still have that tape.
Yeah. But it's because he did not see. If you're an engineer, you're a professional engineer. You should know these things. Yeah. You cannot mix vocals with the instruments, and then there's drums in there. So we are all in one room. So he just did one take, took our money, and that was it. You know?
So did you redo the album later?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we were in Sweden, we did the recordings. At that time, an album will have like 7 songs.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the US, we did a whole CD. We picked up all the songs from those 2 albums.
And
then
from
we did
Maoko's
Johnny.
album?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did Johnny.
Yeah.
Recording Johnny
Yeah.
was recorded in 96.
Yeah.
That's the one with Aoko, Magunga, Tubula, Afrika, Jenny. So when we did Johnny, first of all, even the song Aoko, we had never performed it in the US.
Yeah.
By the time we were coming into Kenya, then we were being told like every corner, just hearing guys playing the song and bands covering that, you know, and guys thinking that it's a traditional song. It's not a traditional song. The song was written, you know. Just because I use the traditional instruments to write music is the same way you use the piano and guitar to write music, you know.
And also, there's also that thing, the mind that a musician has. If you're really creative, yes, folk songs, they're not just folk songs. They were created by somebody. Then they ended up becoming
Folk songs.
folk songs. So I would like to know, I would like to have our music considered like folk. That is something to me, because that's legacy. You understand? When you have all this music that you created and now it's being done in schools, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and when people call it folk song, but they're not folk songs. These are music that evolved over time. So we arranged it that way, because none of us, mind you, none of us was born in the country. We were all born in the city. It's from our own research coming to play that music.
You are
And
the
then-
sons of musicians.
Yeah. And then this Johnny album costed us almost, we're talking about in 96, almost $18,000.
It was
Yeah.
was a long
What do you
project.
mean, 18,000?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, because you see, this is what we wanted.
Those albums that
We are so focused, and we said, we want to record this album. Then we wanted. Our first thing was saying, the first thing we have to do is get the best quality sound, because we are in America.
at a state of the art.
And state-of-the-art
I think I have
recording.
those pictures on my phone.
Yes.
I have those pictures.
So,
Yeah.
so we said we wanted, when somebody's song comes on, a pop artist comes on, and our song comes on, there's no
Same
difference.
quality, yeah.
Same level.
No noise.
Yes.
No, Luis. No.
And then we say we worked out what was the best studio on the East Coast, Audio Mation.
Audio Mation.
You know?
It was in Pittsburgh.
Yes. We went in there. So, and you see the recording process is not like the way we recorded here. So the guy, the first time we go in, we recorded, tracking was easy. But the work
and the
was,
engineer really wanted to learn.
Yes.
So he was even
Because he
looking
also
at it.
learning
He
the
was
instruments.
and play that, you see a special microphone coming on. Something, play that one, a different microphone coming. So he did not take it for granted. Because he was totally new, and it was a good experience.
and we ran out of money. First of all, we ran out of money when the project is in the studio. So we had to,
$8,000?
yeah, no, we gave a 5.
In 96?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that project was long.
That project was long.
Almost 2 years, almost 2 years.
Actually, to finish the project, we ended up being supported by was Blues Travelers manager,
Oh, yeah.
whose mom. First of all, we did a summer festival in Pittsburgh. It was a church, outside a church. It was a church picnic. So after doing the church picnic, one of the older ladies from church, you know, said like, "Oh, I'm so impressed by you guys. Oh, my son manages Blues Traveler." So he tells his son, you gotta hear these guys.
And it
You
was a
gotta
big
hear
band.
these guys.
It was
you
a
know?
big band.
You gotta hear these guys. So the mom takes our number. The son calls us. He tells the son, "Oh, yeah, we did a show there. Who are these guys that impressed my mother like that?" You know? So the lesson of the whole thing is never underestimate any situation. Any situation can be the situation.
Can
you know?
actually get you
out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So Jim Rogers comes in, who was a manager of Blues Trust, like, "Yo, I'm gonna put you on the Hot Festival." Yeah, when I hear you guys, it's like, that's African rock and roll.
Yeah.
He said, "Yes, it's African rock and roll. Let's go."
Because that
He
time,
put us on the Hot
African
Festival,
music was very new
and
in
he
America.
gave us money to finish the project. It was a loan, which we eventually paid. You know, so our journey in America wasn't that easy. You know, it also involves a lot of sacrifices. And the sacrifices were more out there than here. You know, we've done gigs in the US, and all the money ended up, like the time we did a gig in New York, how much money did we come up with after all expenses?
After the expenses?
$7.
$10 or $7?
$7.
$7,
After the expenses.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Because it just happens to be, we had people in the audience, like 80, 90 people. But now when they do their math, all
Expenses,
that,
my friend.
expenses, this and that.
And the club has to take.
The club has to take
Percentage,
that.
yeah.
We ended up with $7. And our bass player had to fly in from Toronto to come.
So you have to look for money to fly him out.
Yes?
New York is not a joke.
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't say, they don't want to tell you the truth about the industry.
It was
But here
$7.
New York is crazy. Yeah?
700 shillings
Yeah.
after expenses.
After expenses, they just cut it down, boom, 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 boom. But that's life of being a musician.
Yeah,
an
like
artist.
we used to carry drums in the streets of Nairobi.
Yep.
So there's nothing like to hide or you wanna feel like at you end you're a celeb. No, these things hakuna kitu. There's nothing that comes for free.
There's nothing for
Yeah, the streets are
There's
not
no
kind.
free lunch.
Yeah, no free lunch. You have to make sure, like, because if you're not cooperating, the streets is gonna straighten you. You're gonna give up. That's why people get into drugs and depression for nothing.
That's why our friend
stress yourself?
Hudson is disappeared.
Yeah, you get into, because you are used to being, you forget where you came from. I cannot forget, even if I went down to the ground, I cannot forget the streets of Nairobi.
They made you.
These are the streets that made us. You know?
So the second album after the
Okay,
third
so
album.
for the first album, we released Journey, became so huge here. We sold a lot of those. We sold a lot of Journey. We
Yeah,
sold
Journey's everywhere.
How many albums, copies for Journey?
Yeah, we did over 30,000, 40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
around that.
almost went. It didn't
Yeah, because of the
gold
first
disc. It wasn't gold or platinum.
See, with Jabali, I would say we were more, you know, in America, the industry is divided a certain way.
Yeah, it's not about gold, platinum.
No, that matters,
yeah.
but
It matters in
those
pop,
are
especially
different
in pop
circles.
music.
Yeah.
The music industry is an everyday thing, you know? There's a circle whereby us guys fell into that jam band, hippie kind of crowd. Yeah. Like, you come into town, it's not advertised on mainstream media, but the guys know a cool band is in town, you know? So, but there's a circle of, like, when you cross over into pop and all that stuff, mainstream, talking about top 40 radio, there's also that crowd, you know? So, but with us, we fell into the hippie jam band series, whereby it's guys that is just a crowd of people. They advertise on public radio, you know? Public radio is not like, it's not like a standard. Yes, it is. It's more like Yamuta. Yeah. Because it is Yamuta. But
Every city has its own radio,
has that
every
circuit.
suburb has its
Yes.
own newspaper,
You know?
and it's very different.
That's where reggae was too. Reggae music was not mainstream. Even like when guys look at all this reggae, it wasn't mainstream.
I cannot believe
When
it.
you
I've
hear-
seen it evolving. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
When you see a Shaggy record being played mainstream, that's a huge thing for reggae. You know? Because they have their own circuits and they have their own markets. So in every town, there's a club that hosts that kind of music. Same thing was happening with Nigerian music until now. Now is coming out in the mainstream because now they're chatting, you know? So Jabali was in that circle of we call it the underground. You know? Those bands that we know that are usually is a very different crowd. It's a hippie crowd, and that's the one that supports reggae, the one that supports world music.
World music.
They used to do all our superstars.
All of them, yes.
They are not in the
Fela.
mainstream. Yeah, the Fela. We are all in that circuit, you know? And it's a circuit whereby, like, you know, like there's a way we know where to find that music. It's very vibrant, you know, but you know where to find it, you know? So we used to do a lot of gigs in the college circuit. Talk about 200 shows a year. So, and we used to like make a lot of our money we were making with merchandising. Our CDs, we used to sell it on the road. So we didn't care even about a label. It was more independent, you know? So, and we used to make more money. We used to make more money with our merchandise on the road independently than when we were signed, when the other album was picked up by a label.
Well,
So we saw the difference.
Roots Ganza?
Roots Ganza.
Yeah, and Mayosi.
Yeah.
So Roots Ganza was under Tough Gong?
No, was under Converge.
Converge,
which
yes.
was part of Nile Rodgers'
yeah.
label. So, but with this CD, we printed like almost 10,000 copies. 10,000 was supposed to be going to publicists.
Yeah.
You talk about like, we are used to printing 5,000, we go on the road, we finish that. And now these guys are telling us we have to print 15,000 copies. 10,000 are going to like the publicists. Yes. And those days was these publicists would take this 10,000, they'll send it to every radio station, every print, like where all these guys write about music. Yes. Every newspaper.
Yeah, they have to have a copy.
But they have the database. Yes. You know? But also, we could hear it everywhere, you know? But we did not see the money, you know? So we preferred even being independent than being
in a label.
Yeah. Yes.
And what the problem with the label, and this is a very big complaint for many African artists, that the label does not actually help many African artists.
It doesn't.
Because if you're an independent artist, Red Sun has been there, walked out.
Yes.
Ali Kiba was there with Sony.
Let me tell you what happens. And that's one
crazy.
thing I'll tell the artists to be very careful. Like right now, Africa is popping all over the world, right? Yeah. And now these guys are coming in, and they're giving Africans those deals they used to give Americans way back. Yeah. And the Africans are making it. They've already made it without their help. Yes. So why would I give them an opportunity right now when I'm already made it without them? You see? So being on these labels is not, I know sometimes guys, you know, we used to like wish you want just to be seen, oh, I'm a Sony recording artist, I'm a Universal recording artist. It's not the best thing for Africa, I would say that.
Calligraph John says that we are getting catfished.
No, yes, I will not, he's right.
We are getting catfished.
Yes, because,
and you're not seeing it.
Yeah, because why would I give you an opportunity that I've already done by myself? So, and you guys, even when they give us deals, they are not giving us, if you're giving me a Universal deal, I want to pick up a Universal artist that I want to be on a record with. Yes. So if they're not helping me, if like it's like even the MTV's Africa, you know? Yeah. MTV Africa, majority of the artists are from where? They're still American artists they still run some of the American artists stuff here. Yes. Why can't they do the African artists in America on their MTV Europe and MTV America? Yeah. See, that would be a better deal. Yeah. So, but don't just create MTV Africa and just show me the Africans in Africa and not do not put me on MTV Europe of the US, you know? So that would be the only way I tell Africans, if you're signing these deals, make sure they benefit you in their market.
Not only just keeping you for 2 years.
Don't give me South African artists.
Yeah.
Because that's where their setups are. Like, if I want to be Ja Rule on my record, give me Ja Rule. If he's on Universal, give me Ja Rule. All right?
You see the way that one also, what happened also to Gidi Maji Maji and Gallo records, same problem.
Yeah. Same problem.
Baba Mal appeared in one song, Many Faces, and 6, no one else. Yeah. 2 years down the line, the contract is over, you've not made money out of the record, you're put on the shelf, and you've not produced music for 2 years.
Yes, and that's the problem. But when you are releasing your music, you realize, why would you break a system that is already working?
And that's what Diamond has perfected.
Yes.
Releasing songs of every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks a song comes out. And now you tell Diamond, stay on the shelf for 6 months.
And I would give you a label.
Yeah, just because you want to be seen like you're on a label. No. So this label thing, it has to be, we have to look at it like it's artists first. Artists benefit first. You know? Being on a label, I know it's cool to be on a label, but also it's about the lines, what you've how it's going to help you. You know?
So, and apart from now the American scene, you have 4 albums, Roots Ganza, you did a children album.
Mayosi, no. Mayosi. First of all, Johnny. Remember the Past.
Remember the Past.
Roots Ganza.
Roots Ganza, the 3rd one.
Yeah, 4th one, Mayosi. 5th one, Rebellion.
Yes.
6th one, Nakumbuka.
Yes.
7th one,
the Kids album.
The Kids album.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So and the Kids album was basically inspired by Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the show, the Emmy awarding show that gave us a break in America. Yeah. So, and apart from that, we realized we're performing to American kids and teaching them a lot of things about our culture. I sit with, for 45 minutes with American kids. They come out of there singing songs in Swahili. When I come to my background, I come to Kenya, our kids are being raised by content from Disney, from, you know, like a culture they don't understand, you know? So, and sometimes these things, when you look at them, they have a very big impact to our kids. When they look at characters that don't look like them, you know? Whenever these situations happen, they'll always look at themselves as inferior to these characters. Do you get my point?
I get you.
So you see, the Spanish guys, they have Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
You know? So we need to have also children of color having heroes like Luanda Magere on an animated
screen,
thing,
yes,
you know?
animated,
Like, so that they know, like, oh, we can also be superheroes. Not always, what do you call it, Aladdin.
And Visram.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, and leave alone that. Africa, we are so rich in those kid stuff, you know? Well, like if you look at like your grandmother, or even if you remember the stories that your grandmother, your uncles used to tell you, you know? We have all that stories. We start making noise when Hollywood picks up Lion King and Hakuna Matata, now we start complaining about it. But when you look at here, our kids are being, what they're watching on TV is all this Disney-oriented programming. I'm not saying it's bad, but when you look at the imagery and the characters on these shows, they don't look like them, you know? I want to see a nappy-haired kid too, like walking around like as a, you know, as a hero for these kids. So when you grow up, a kid grows up thinking like, oh, the kid with the long hair is cooler than me, you know? It starts with those things. And then we start hating the Nyatiti. We start hating the Ohangla, you know? And that's who we are.
Yeah.
You know?
So the project, the Rebellion project, Roots Ganza, those were purely done in America.
Yeah, all our albums were done in America.
But where did my favorite, Achoke?
Achoke was in the Remember the Past.
Let's do Achoke. Let's do Achoke.
Yeah.
Achoke, you do me fine.
Yeah.
Achoke, you do me fine. Achoke,
You do me bad. You do me bad. You do me bad. I send her to the market. She buy more than candy. I take her to a party and then she dance dombolo. Me take her to the river. She breaks the pot. Oh, Achoke, you do me bad in honestly. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. You do me bad. You do me bad in honest way. Achoke, you do me bad. Aya. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. You do me bad. You do me bad. This is the remix. Achoke umenikosea. Achoke umenikosea. Achoke umenikosea. Umenikosea. Umenikosa. One more time. Achoke umenikosea. Achoke umenikosea. Achoke umenikosea. Umenikosea. Umenikosa. I send her to the market. She buy for them. I take her to a party and then she dance dombolo. Me take her to the river. She breaks the pot. Oh, Achoke, you do me bad in honest way. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. You do me bad. You do me bad. A cappella. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad. Achoke, you do me bad.
You do me bad. You do me bad.
We are remembering the past.
Yeah. When us guys played at the talent site, it just became so huge. Yeah, we had not recorded it, but everybody used to follow us everywhere because of this song, you know? So we recorded that in the Remember the Past album.
The first album.
Second album.
Second album. And then Aoko came in there.
Aoko came into Journey.
Journey. And then which key song did we play in Rebellion?
We had Rebellion, had like Mau Mau. Well, we had like Kimathi.
Kimathi.
Dead and Kimathi.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And we've had so many songs, 100%, Jenny, you know?
Of course, Jenny.
Yeah,
Can we have a jam on Jenny?
Yeah, we'll do Jenny. But also we collaborated on Nakumbuka, we collaborated with Samba on a song called Mashindani.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was called Mashindani, you know? Mashindani, like Samba lives in the DMV area, and he was a very influential person in like our recording sessions. Like you learn a lot from
Samba
experience.
has always been good during his Mvunja Mifupa days in
Yes.
Nairobi.
Yeah, and then he's a very good writer, one of my favorite writers, you know, music writers I know. He's not a guy like you say.
He moved with the whole of Virunga band.
Yeah, the Virunga is still there.
Yeah.
And he just released an album, Maneno ya Hekima. He has an album that we helped a little bit.
Moving to the US, he never moved to the, you know.
No, he has
Virunga
like
band.
there's Virunga.
He has his musicians that he
has
uses.
his musicians that he uses, like in Nguma Lokito. Talking
Nguma
about
the sessionists.
the session musicians from the Paris session.
Yeah, Paris session.
And majority of those guys are the guys who recorded the music anyway. Yeah, Lokasa and Bongo.
Yeah, there are many.
Yeah,
Nguma,
Shiko
they're
Mawati.
there.
Yeah, Nguma.
They're in Vermont. Right?
Yeah, they are in New York.
Nguma has gone to New York.
Is
They
in
were in
New York.
Paris.
They were no, Paris now moved to New York.
All of them.
Yes.
Lokasa, Nguma, Lokito, Nene
Syrian
Chaku,
Beza,
Chaku, Syrian
yes.
Beza.
So,
But the whole of the what do you call them?
the Four Stars.
The Four Stars.
Yes.
Yeah, the Four Stars.
Even Niboma.
Niboma was the Mwadido.
Was also I even didn't know Niboma is the one singing the background in Vunja Mifupa.
Yeah, Niboma was in Vunja Mifupa when they recorded in Paris.
They recorded in Paris.
Yeah.
So anyway, so learning from him, you know, like sometimes when you're younger, you're very naive about how these guys created these classics. But when you sit around them, you know, like you understand, like you learn from, they're not teaching you, they're not telling you do this, but you seeing them doing what they do is a very big thing. So and that's why it's always very important for the young musicians coming up, always respect the elder and always try to learn from the elder.
So, and then just before we conclude, let's look at, would you say that Jabali has, in America, they achieve what they set to do? And in Kenya, what is your next musical journey? Now we are here. Are you replenishing your guns or your vocals and then you'll do another outset? Are you still booking with the same artist, promoter? Are you going into more music production or are you going to nurture talent now?
We are in the process of still, like music is a continuous process, as we say. It's like digestion. It keeps going. But also right now we're in the stage whereby we are nurturing talent. Apart from nurturing talent.
You have a studio?
Yeah.
I've got a studio in the River.
Yeah, we have a studio.
And also a music label, Culture Hub Recordings, is based now here. And also there's other, projects that I've been doing on the side. We just released an international release 2 weeks ago with a musician from Spain. It's a flamenco. I was even checking out some videos today that somebody's forwarded to me. This guy's a Grammy winner. His name is Antonio Camona. He plays flamenco. Flamenco is very new to Kenyans.
Yeah, but it's very big in Spain.
It's very big in Spain.
Yeah,
it's Spanish speaking.
Flamenco is big in
Yeah,
Spanish.
so the track itself is doing well. We did it in collaboration with Samaki Mkuu and Jason Danford. He's my boy. He's under my label too. And the other Mexican guy, Romantico. And then we did it with Sanaipe Tande. And it was an interesting project. So if you listen to it, it's for people who appreciate art. It's not for the people who are waiting for, hey, hands up in the air, yeah. No, it's for the ears.
For the ears and for the palate.
So there's other stuff too. I've also released I got 2 albums. While I was here, I've been here 3 years. I was in the studio a lot. And I still have some 120 songs unreleased. So music is a continuous thing. You know, music speaks to me. Whatever you think or whatever you see is what we sing about. So, and our story is every day. So, yeah, and the studio is active, and touring is coming up. So we never know. After this pandemic, we don't know what's going to happen because people are hungry. Everybody wants to get out. People have been, people have been indoors, and people are going crazy. People are getting depressed because, music plays a very big role in society.
So, and then on the other hand too, like we're also helping out in building some structures. When I say the musical structures, is like, I'm not saying, when people look at the region, it's popping. There's all these vibrancy, but the structures are a little bit weak. When you've experienced how structures work, you realize like, oh, the talent is there, but there's some structures need to be fixed. So with I have a group of creatives, we set up like Manifest Africa, and these are creatives. There's Razak Hassan. Razak used to work with Kenyan. All that stuff that Kenyan made, basically they made it together. Like Mbogi Genje, we put them with a producer, a Jamaican producer. This guy works with them in Mali. So if you listen to the track, it's produced by, it's a different producer. But also we're combining them with other artists, maybe Jamaican artists. And then if you realize when Mbogi Genje are doing their thing, sometimes even some of us guys don't understand what they're saying.
Yes.
But sometimes it's not about understanding what they're saying, but you can feel the vibe, We don't want to change them. Sometimes you imagine
the poetry.
Imagine Mbogi Genje doing something in English.
No, we want them just to keep the Ngumi Mbwekze. You know what they say, Ngumi Mbwekze? Ngumi Mbwekze.
So you see, the thing is, so we bring the artists and we understand their world. Yes. And and also them, they'll understand the world.
Not to try change them.
Because sometimes when we try change people or when we try change ourselves, we fall into the pit. When we try change ourselves. If you listen to all these artists, they used to do the Baba Miles, they sing in Wolof. Salif Keita, they sing in Wolof.
Manu Dibango used to.
Yeah, you cannot like try force yourself on something you're not comfortable with.
Is there any song did you guys pick from your dad, Mr. Askoy Sr.?
So many songs.
Which one?
See, my dad got saved.
Yes.
And the thing is, I'll explain that. You see, the days of when my dad got saved, my dad banned his guitar. The one he used to play in clubs.
Yes.
So he went ahead and banned the guitar.
Old school
did not make sense to me.
Old school Christians.
And he stayed like 15 years
without a guitar.
Without a guitar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he said, like, I got saved, this I used to play it in clubs, so I'm going to ban this guitar. Yes. All this, like, I've left this life to this life.
Yeah.
Our dad never taught us this, the songs that they used to sing.
Yeah, he never taught us.
There's some songs that we came home and we were singing from just gathering them from out there. So who's teaching you these songs? Yes. Because there's some songs like he felt like they were not right for our ears.
Rebecca wanisumbua.
Yeah.
Aye. Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye. Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye. Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye.
Come on.
Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye. Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye. Aye. Rebecca wanisumbua. Aye. And that's what we.
So,
Yeah.
so some of the music we used to learn it from there, from outside, and like, oh, it reminds him of those days.
Yeah.
So it's also understanding, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you look at the church, the colonialism
Yes.
factor, when they brought in the church, you know, some of us looked at our traditional life, like, and look at it like it's inferior, you know? But that was the wrong thing to approach it, you know? We were the guys with the religion, you know? And, but we acted like the white man's religion is better than our religion. And those are the things that my dad was suffering from, in the sense that, oh, now these things, nimewacha hii guitar, and he burnt it, you know?
Yes.
And that's an instrument that he used to play very well for a very long time. He stayed 15 years
Without a guitar?
without a guitar. Because at that time, buying a guitar was not even easy. Because he had kids he was raising. He was just working in a factory. So were you going to buy a guitar or buy food for your kids?
Yeah.
So he kept
So did you
stretching.
guys buy him another one?
He has
Oh,
thousands
yeah,
of
he's
guitars now.
got like 6 or 7.
Yeah. He got
Even
tons of guitars.
Fender amplified, all
Yes.
that stuff, man.
So now he's understood Christianity.
Yeah.
So he plays his
He's
guitar
got
now.
different types of guitars, man.
Yeah.
Very nice ones. You know, myself, I have like 8.
Like
But,
his birthday, he gets a guitar. Everybody brings them a guitar.
Nice guitars, man.
Yeah, so the point is, like, we got so much from just him, the way he plays guitar. We got it from my dad, but also music was always in our household. And my brother brought in this angle of music from outside other regions. South African music and West African music made it to our house through my brother.
Is there any way you will get the African heritage guys who are still to do a sort of a renewal? Our friend Ayu Bogada passed on, but there are many other artists who are out there.
Yeah.
Some of them are in
Samite,
Sweden.
we did some stuff with Samite.
Yeah.
And Samite was telling me the history of how he started playing Litungu. He has a very interesting story. And he basically, his first Litungu, he got it from the late Ambwene, the old man who did Kariobangi Chonjo Chonjo.
Kariobangi.
Chonjo Chonjo. That was a Litungu song.
Chonjo.
Yeah, that was the original Litungu song.
Yeah.
Kila siku,
Kariobangi.
Chonjo Chonjo. Ukikutana na murembo. No. But it was a Litungu song.
Yeah.
We were privileged to meet that old man before he died. He died like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, actually we bought his casket, remember?
Yeah. So, and it's unfortunate, like,
The guy was over 100 years.
it's so heartbreaking to see our legends like those ones
Pass on without.
pass on without recognition. And even apart from that, just even us guys preserving this gold that we have, you know? The good thing about Ambwene, he left us a big legacy. Because even at his age, he was still playing, you know? And then we have other guys too, the Dio Misianis of this country, you know? The Jacob Lucenos. When you listen to Dio Misiani or Jacob Luceno, that is a Oliver Mtukudzi version, you know? So I'll prefer, like, the guys who do programming in our media also to highlight these aspects that build our ecosystem of giving us a sound. Sometimes we complain here, we are looking for a national dress. We are looking, I don't know, for something to identify with.
National sound.
Yes. It's not even a national sound. If you are Luo, just go back to your roots. Just talk to your grandmother and see how they live their life. That's who you are. If you are Luo, do the same. So we are not lacking in those things. It just happens to be highlighting that aspect and being proud of it. That's where the problem is, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
So does music pay? Ladies and gentlemen.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Music pays.
Music
But
Yeah, before going to that, I'll take you back a little bit, one step behind. Guido comes to my studio.
Kibukosi.
Kibukosi. You know,
He has a
he's
studio in
Kakamega.
yes.
Yeah. I was supposed
that's
to.
the original African.
I missed him
heritage.
last week. I was supposed to go to his place, and I'm sure he's watching, and it's gonna be a problem, you know. But he normally comes. You know, when I call him, he comes there 3-4 days, and then he helps me in mixing, his expertise is
He's
important.
another level.
Yeah,
man.
he's a genius.
A very good bassist.
Yeah, bass player. But,
And also the eye for engineering
yeah,
and
ooh,
sound.
yeah, he knows. He runs that thing like.
Kibukosi.
And I'm glad you mentioned Guido.
Yeah,
Guido is the original African Heritage member.
Yes, and
Guido,
yes, Guido was there.
What's the name of the keyboard player? Jack
Guido.
Odongo.
Jack
Odongo.
Odongo.
Jack is
Jack
somewhere.
is the one who inspired Pete Odera.
Yes.
He's the uncle to Pete Odera. Yes.
So there is Samite, who went on as, Ayub Ogada.
Ayub just passed, yeah.
And then there was Wali Amalemba late, So those guys, anyway, their music, if you look at their music, they're the guys who used to do what us guys are doing now. Those guys did it before,
Yeah.
So, we have to make sure that lineage still goes, still continues.
You wanted to add on to something you said before about music paying?
Oh yeah, music pays.
It does.
Yeah, it does pay. It just depends. Don't
But
take it as a job.
Not in this country.
Here,
And
I'm not sure because I can really count the dollars that I got from here doing my music. But outside there,
You got your money.
yeah, music pays. And you even get paid, you get paid before the show.
So that's why we need to get
But we don't have
the
those.
CMOs, the MCSKs, the PRISC, all these guys, they need to be checked. And the government needs
Yeah,
to
they need
do
to.
that
Yeah, they need
ASAP. And when I say that, it's because there's no way we can have a vibrant scene without making that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no need of musicians you have a hit song and you're being paid like 2,000 or 3,000 Kenya shillings coming into your like quarterly. That's unacceptable, And also the media, they say like the broadcasters, you guys are not paying,
We are paying.
So if you're paying, where does that money go to?
Where's the money?
We are paying.
So, and that's what I'm saying. The CMOs,
You see, it's
something is not
discouraging.
right. Something's not right. So it breaks your heart when you hear people like Daudi Kabaka. If you look at their families, guys have given us classics. Every Independence Day, Harambe, Harambe, all those things. Yeah. So all this great music was done by these guys. But when you look at their families,
Helule.
Helule,
These guys died poor, man.
Yeah, they died poor. And that's why, one of the reasons why Jabali left and went out of here, we are more like running, we are like musical refugees.
Yeah. Hey, we're suffering here.
And in the land of milk and honey, did we get married there and family there? Joseph, sema kweli bana.
A lot of milk and honey.
Yeah, I'm married in America. Yes. I have a wife. Yes. Her name is Erica. We have a beautiful son called Ahadi. Ahadi Mtoto Mzuri. He's on the album too. Yes. Yes. But also I have older kids, in my previous relationships, So, you find love anywhere,
Love is geographical.
Yes, it's like, and then you see, and
Love is geographical.
and when you're a musician, you meet so many people, But I'm chilled, I'm just raising a family.
Thank you.
How about
Mr.
you?
Husto.
Yeah, I got married in the land of milk and honey.
Yes.
And broke up in the land of milk and honey.
What happened, bro?
Milk and honey turned into sugarcane or something else, It's normal.
This is normal.
Yeah, but, we were blessed, I have a son, 9-year-old, he's almost going to 10. But, yeah, man, now I'm here, still, floating. But who knows?
What is next?
Well, who knows what is next? But now, it's not a priority. Because I came to find out, matters of the heart can kill you. They can build you. And also they can kill you. Where? Because I've seen my friends, man. I'm not saying, love is a beautiful thing. Yeah. But when it's bad, fire, motor, wire, steamer. So you have to tread carefully, Yeah. But I have a son. I have a beautiful son. Yeah. His name is Solomon. He's been here. He's coming. Corona spoiled everything, but I see they're preparing to come. So Dad is here. But I might see him before him coming here.
So, any tour coming up?
Yeah, those are the things. Like with the single that we did with Antonio Camona, we are waiting because we might go there in November, but it's not confirmed yet. But we're still waiting from them. You know, it got picked up by Universal, of course, but Universal got to show us some money. You know, we want to go on stage now. You know, but also on the Jabali side, we might be having some tours coming up because things are opening up. I don't know if I just saw online, you know, people jam-packed at a venue.
Yeah,
and I was
America
like
is
asking
opening
myself,
up.
are they all vaccinated? And I was like, wow, you know, things are opening up, so we're hoping for the best. Because as I said before, people are sick and tired of sitting in the house. It's like a prison sentence. You know, people are getting depressed. So music is part of things that make life go easy. Yeah.
Brothers, performing together for a very long time. Your father was a musician. How is it to keep it together? How would you advise people to keep it together as siblings? Because it's not easy. Remember, my good friends, the twins, P Square.
Yeah, P Square.
Yeah, Peace Corps, yeah. Yeah, they went separate ways, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you see, even as, you see the way Justo came to Jabali and the way I came to Jabali was a very totally different routes. Like, he came to the National Theatre, I came, you know, he auditioned by himself, I came to the National Theatre, auditioned by myself. We happened to be in the same troupe together, and then when we broke out and formed Jabali, we just happened to be together. So our focus has been, I think the focus has been more of the music. There's a chemistry that we have that creating music for a long time together, in the sense that we are focused about, we love what we do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, regardless of how things sometimes go, we always, when it comes to the music, we always find ourselves, everything just comes together. So it's not easy. I'm just, it's not even about siblings. It's about even just being in a band or being in a group, whether it's a sibling or not, the dynamics are very different. To keep a group together is not easy. People have their own different ways how they do stuff. So sometimes you look at the bigger picture. You know, it just so the Fugees came back together.
Yeah,
After
the
people
reunion.
saying,
Yeah,
after people
after
saying,
how long? 25
25 years.
yes.
Yeah.
After people saying like, this will never happen. You know? So, and when they came on that stage, it was like they never left. So they looked at the bigger picture. So I'll say to ourselves is like, it's a blessing, first of all, to be doing the same thing for a long time. But also, I realize why bands sometimes you find that they don't last. Because when you're caught up with different things, when you're in a band, you have different personalities. Your dream maybe is to become, when you get to America, was to do theater. When you find that opportunity, you're gone. Or your dream is like, oh, you find, maybe you're looking for a soulmate. That situation comes, you're gone, you know?
And also self-discipline matters. If you are somebody who just goes there, it's not the talent that comes first, it's discipline. For me, it's discipline. Because you might be talented, but discipline, there's nothing. You're going to ruin everything. And sometimes having a big head, egos, you know? So I've seen people doing other personal stuff, you know, because you cannot police everybody in a band. But you find somebody is doing some things that you didn't know. Mtu anakula makokaini yake huko. You're on stage, somebody somewhere disappeared. We have seen musicians even pushing that stuff in their body.
You have to adjust.
I've seen it backstage.
Yeah.
Not once, you know. But
It's
you find
rock and
like,
roll.
yeah. But those are things that kill artists early. But self-discipline really matters. You know.
Alcoholism,
Alcoholism is
taking
something.
it overboard. I've seen that.
You have back-to-back shows and then you miss one or two.
That's it.
They're gonna slap you with a lawsuit.
So imagine you're doing 200 shows, one after another. If your behind is not in a car traveling or in a plane traveling, you're in a hotel, performance, road. You know, and that's every night. So if you decide to party in this town, you know, it catches up with you. You know? So you have to have discipline. You have to know what time are you supposed to go to bed. We've seen that happen to a lot of people. They could not wake up.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of them, they are left, the bus leaves you So it has to come from your pocket to catch up.
No one else.
And by the time you're catching up, you've messed up another 2 shows. You know? So discipline is a very big thing.
So how would you describe Jabali Afrika in one word?
In one word, wow. That's hard, man.
Yeah?
In one word.
Of course, or 3 words.
Yeah.
3 words.
Yeah.
Focused, rooted, focused, rooted,
Still strong.
and still strong.
Thank you. So let's do one song and then we close the interview.
Okay.
Let's do.
Yeah, before we do this song, can I big up some 2 people?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Ben.
Mr. Yawezekana, strong Yawezekana. Tuko hapa ndani. That's my artist. And Steve G, the veteran, Steve G. Those are my people. Tuko pamoja.
So we do Aoko.
Yeah, let's do Aoko.
Yes.
Okay.
Nimepanda milima, ona mabonde, nimepita misitu na nyika, kaogelea kwenye mito na bahari. Aoko, Aoko, Aoko. Nimekutana vipusa kwenye nyuso zinazong'aa, wenye meno maziwa, wenye macho ngololi, wenye mwanya mdomoni. Aoko, Aoko, Aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Uko wapi wewe? Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Nifikiria hapo, sini wala sisikii, sura yangu ya tabasamu, roho nayo haiduni, bali urukaruka. Aoko, 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 Aoko. O mwana mer, o mwana mbaye, shipenzi o mwana shindo butwa, o mwana swe, o mwana yonyine. Aoko, Aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Uko wapi wewe? Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko. Nimetembea sijamuona msichana kama Aoko. Aoko.
Ati omwana si?
Mwana shindubutswa.
Sindubutswa.
Mwana swe.
Omwana sweswe.
Yani maringo.
Swahili kama vile bata utembea.
Vile bado utembea.
Na vile bata utembea. Hivyo, ni Swahili.
Omwana swe. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It has been nice hosting these 2 gentlemen, Jabali Afrika, Justo and Jose Kashikoe, in this episode of History Makers. Keep it locked.